Hello, hello. How's everyone? My name is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you guys to Beauty Superstars Talk. It's your backstage pass to experts in beauty. And first of all, my scheduled guest for tonight was Mr. Joe Dudley Sr., the co-founder of the beauty empire we all know and love as Dudley Products. And unfortunately, Mr. Dudley is not feeling well, and he can't be here tonight. So we're definitely sending our love and prayers to him to have a speedy recovery. And we plan to have him on as soon as he's up to it. So we'll keep you posted on that. So fortunately, God was in the midst of all of this, and we have a perfect guest tonight. She's actually one of a few female legends, and her hairstyling is legendary. Her voice has commanded stages worldwide, including Europe, Africa, and several islands, the Virgin Islands, Bahamas. She's been everywhere. Her name is Dr. Barbara Edmonds, and when I called at the last minute, she was gracious enough to say, let's do it. So for that, I'm grateful. It's like you guys are actually in for an amazing treat. And she's going to share her story tonight, as well as some of her signature success formulas, including something she calls K.A.S.H, which is K.A.S.H. And we had her on. It looks like she has disappeared, but I'm hoping she'll be on momentarily. But I'm wondering, or thinking you might be wondering, why I'm standing up tonight, because I'm usually seated. But I wanted to be near this trophy, this award that I won. That was from the Proud Lady Beauty Show. What's wrong? Okay. So anyway, I won this award many years ago. I was actually a finalist in the competition. It was in Chicago, so they flew us all out to Chicago, and they called my name as the grand prize winner for this fabulous trophy, which is, as you can see, pretty hefty. It usually sits right behind me. I don't know if you've noticed it or not before. But why I show you this is because my guest tonight was the one who actually presented it to me that evening. One of my goals and dreams was to be on stage with a lot of the people that I had seen in magazines and had hair shows and all of that. And that night, my dream came true. So it was really an exciting time in my life. And so I'm really, really super honored that Miss Barbara Edmonds is here tonight to share her story with us. And I'm going to try to scoot over and have a seat here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm so passionate about having this broadcast for you. I don't know if I'm on camera well or not, but definitely want to thank you for being here. But each night, or each week, not every night, but I'm thinking about more often than not. But each week I bring you some of the best and brightest Black artists in the beauty industry to share their stories and actually take you backstage into their world. So as I mentioned, my name is Miki Wright, and if you are on YouTube with us, we invite you to subscribe and actually ring the bell so you can be notified when we do start these amazing interviews each week. With a little background on myself, I gave you a little bit as far as my the early parts of my career, but the whole thing is that I'm excited about celebrating Black artists who are excelling in the beauty industry and telling their stories that we don't always get to hear. I've actually spent my career, as you can see, as an award-winning hairstylist and educator, and I've helped thousands of other stylists and salon owners to get more clients and make more money. And I'm also second generation in the business. My mom's in the business as well as my sister. And I was actually one of the first African-American owners of a full-service salon and day spa in the country. So basically, you could say that I absolutely love the beauty industry. And Beauty Superstars Talk was actually born out of the murder of George Floyd and the racial tensions that erupted after that. They actually spilled into the beauty industry, which, if you don't know, is still one of the most segregated industries in the country after churches. And so during that time, I actually had a chance to go or be part of a few Zoom calls where there were a lot of Black artists who were doing great things in the industry, coming together to meet each other and just, have conversations as far as how we can make this industry better. And some of them had experiences that were challenging as far as racial, whether it was subtle or not so subtle. But all of them had pushed through and were doing amazing things in the industry. And I actually left the meeting feeling super inspired, and just like these stories have to be told, they have to be heard. And so I've actually expanded my platform, Beauty Superstars, to be able to provide a safe space for Black artists to be able to tell their own stories, so we don't have to have anyone else's narrative. So basically, we're here to inspire, to educate, and to heal our industry. And the Legend series, it's like I'm doing that this month. This is October of 2020, and we're about halfway through our Legend series. It's like we've had John Atchison on, we had Reginald Mitchell, who's Dr. Hair, on last week. We have Barbara Edmonds this week, and we have Floyd Kenyatta next week. So that's a lot of heavy hitters. I know there's many more legends that we want to have on and want to honor and to hear their stories, but they're super special to me because I think it's so important to know where we've come from and how the business that we love and provides a great livelihood for us came to be. Many younger stylists don't know a lot of these artists, and the artists, in fact, have devoted their lives to helping hairstylists to progress. They are full of wisdom, and we want to get those nuggets and preserve this history. And it also came to me, like, even if you wanted to find out, about some of the stylists that have come before us, where would you look? We don't have libraries, and history is not taught as part of our cosmetology or barber programs. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to even record the history and really celebrate those shoulders that we're really standing on. So without further ado, it's like I want to welcome my guest, but I don't see her. So Miss Barbara hopefully will be back any moment. So I don't know how to get her back. It's like we've lost her. But I want to just talk to you a little bit. It's like I shared a little bit of my experience with first meeting Barbara, and fortunately that was not the last encounter that we had. It's like I actually got to work with her on several occasions. Part of her biography tells you that she is a platinum member of the NBH, which I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but it's the National Black Hair Fashion Group. And that was started by Thomas Hayden, who's another legend. And he's passed away, but I'm grateful because I was actually able to interview him before he passed away. And so we will have that as part of our Legend series on the podcast, which should launch by the end of the month. So, and I will need your support to make the podcast a hit. But with working with her, she was part of the Platinum membership. So she was already top notch, and she was part of the selection committee for deciding who would be part of that team. And it was a bunch of trials and interviews, and, they made you go through a lot of different hoops. And I was really, really grateful and proud to have made the team and to be part of that organization. I learned so much. I can't even tell you, working with Thomas Hayden, who was one of the top people in the country. Working with, that's where I met Dr. Reginald Mitchell. That's where I met my guest tonight, Barbara Edmonds. And I can't tell you, just the matter of, we already came in, I guess you could say, as good stylists, but we learned more about styling on the technical side. We learned about how to teach people, things like hair cutting, styling, all those types of things. It's like we did fashion releases. I think every 6 months we did like fashion trends, where we were able to actually go through and learn and set up and create our own trends, which is, super cool. And it looks like Barbara's here. So I'm going to try to get her on here. So let's see what we got. Hi there. She's back.
Hi. Yes, our internet went out, but you know how stuff is.
Exactly. It's like the
Right.
technology, we love it, and it's perfect until it's not perfect. So
Still needs a human sometimes.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
So we are happy you're here. It's like I was just telling people a little bit about, NBH and the National Black Hair Fashion Group, and you were a platinum member of that, and you were part of the selection committee when I was trying out to be part of the team. So yeah, tell them, I guess, a little bit more about the history of it, and then we'll kind of backtrack from there since I already started this conversation.
Well, it was a group that was trying to bring Black professionals together to get organized. We normally only had the National Beauty Cultures League, and early on we only had beauty trade. So it was a group that was trying to come together to do, again, like we love doing, is educating.
Right. Yeah, and I know Thomas Hayden was the founder, I believe, and yeah, and I was just sharing how much I learned by being part of the group with the training on technical skills, on learning how to teach, and doing on training, and some of it was a little trial by fire where you're just thrown in to a situation.
But sometimes that's the best experience,
right?
We didn't have anybody to teach us certain things,
right?
And we had to learn by experience,
Yeah. So tell us, like, how did you even get started in the industry? It's like I share with them a little bit about your background and your experience, and definitely my experience, and how I'm so excited to have you present me the award from the first Proud Lady Beauty Show. So, so how did you even get into hair?
Hold on. How I got into it was I was a senior in high school. I didn't know what I was getting ready to do, and the counselor had some scholarships.
Okay.
So I was a little artistic, but I didn't know. Let me get a little mint. So I got the scholarship to beauty school. Okay. And from there, Madam C.J. Walker Beauty School in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Wow.
Okay. From there, I was really getting a little discouraged about school. So the competition came up, beauty trade show, which you guys probably don't know anything about. Clairol was sponsoring a color competition. So me and 3 of the students got in my yellow Studebaker that you had to slide in one door, one room. And my color wasn't quite right. It was still brassy. So I went down to the Clairol booth. And a lady named Clara Johnson, I told her I was in the competition. And I knew my color wasn't right. So she came up to my room and she helped me that night, and I won.
Oh, wow.
In my first competition. So I went back to the booth to thank her, and Walter Leapard, who became my mentor, said when I went back to show her the trophy, he said, get up on stage and tell them what you did. That was it for me. Them applause and stuff had me going. I knew then I was going to do something else other than be behind the chair, because the show circuit was new. I didn't know really what the industry was about at all.
Okay.
Just kind of thrown into it.
Scoot over. It's like we're only catching part of you.
Right.
I want to see all of you.
Okay, right here. Okay. There we go.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure it out, but I hadn't. So I won. I went back. I finished school. There was a white school that was giving a scholarship for teachers.
Okay.
So in noticing what I noticed at the competition, I needed to be able to learn how to teach. Because from then on, I wanted to be a platform artist. Went to the House of James Beauty School, learned the white side of the industry. Then I made up my mind I was bringing that back to our side of the industry. I'm trying to keep it right. And then my first teaching job was at the Indianapolis Skills Center by a gentleman by the name of Reginald Jones. Gave me my first opportunity to be director. From there, I started going to the shows. I competed some more. When I finished and got my license, I called Mr. Leapard, and he gave me a job as a technician in the back room. Look, I went in there with my heels and my silk top. I wasn't going on stage. I didn't know that. I thought I was going on stage, right? And I got 10 all over my clothes as a technician, but it gave me the opportunity to go to the Midwest show and the international show, which were white shows.
Okay.
That's where I met John Atchison, Olive Benson, James Harris. When I saw John Atchison cut hair, I knew we didn't have to do fried that and lay it to the side no more. And it's funny because now, cutting like with mine, you don't have to have curls anymore. Right. He was doing that 30 years ago.
Right.
So that was how I really got started in all of that. He then left Clairol and went to Ultra Sheen, and he hired me, and Velma Glenn trained me, and I ended up being director of education there when she retired. And I had a great team. We had North, South, East, and West, Lanita Griffin, Kenneth Browning. We had Richard Green. Nadine people. Reggie would be on Soft Sheen, and we would be on Ultra Sheen. So we were always cool and friends, right? So he would go. We would let each other know what time we were going on, so each one of us could have a crowd. Okay. But we worked well together, and I wouldn't have gotten where I was. I was in the show circuit early, you know. And then, then I was able. I had a client who worked for Amway, and she had a show and asked me to do the makeup. That's when I started learning about motivation. The speaker was Zig Ziglar. He had a book called See You at the Top.
Right.
That was my beginning. Then I read every positive thinking book I could and incorporated it in my teaching with my students. And that's when I came up with all those little formulas and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So
just
the beginning
alone is like, wow.
Okay. Right. But I use those things from the motivational skills that I learned to develop what it takes to be successful. Because that's what they teach you in those sessions, of how to do that. We ask ourselves, what is it, why, and how? You have to have a vision. What is your vision? I ask my students, well, what are you here for? Do you see it in vision? Then I taught them to do vision boards. Okay. Then, giving them confidence goes back to the first letter of K.A.S.H. Once you get knowledge, then we used to say knowledge is power, right? But knowledge is only power if you can communicate it. Then you become powerful. So that's one of the first steps. And then the second thing is attitude. Listen, have a checkup from the neck up and stop our stinking thinking, right? And that was always one of our famous sayings, but you have to be, this is really key. You have to have gratitude.
Yeah.
When you got gratitude, you can have a good attitude. And you have confidence because you have your knowledge. Then when you develop them skills, listen, how many of you been on a mannequin, or how many of you got a piece of paper and a pen out right now? Now. Mannequins are my best friend. I learned all the competition, all the cutting on a mannequin. I still practice.
Yeah.
Because you have to always better yourself and learn new things. Then you got to develop them habits. That's the hard part. Good habits. For something to become a habit, you have to do that vision board 3 times a day. Look at it in the morning, look at it at night, look at it in the evening. Before you go to bed, get your attitude right about how your day is going to be. Now, did I do all of this right away and get it right? No, my success is from my mistakes. What was the lesson in the mistake? Not failing. People say plan A and plan B. There's not a plan B because you done already said plan A to fail. Okay. So you just got to learn from the mistake to make the plan better, to go forward. And you got to plan. People don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. We don't try to make mistakes, but we learn the lesson. What was the lesson, in all of that? But you got to develop habits, and you got to do whatever it is you're trying to do. You got to say it in the morning. You got to say it in the afternoon and at night. What people learn, what they see, say, and do. You got to say it out loud. You got to look at that vision board, and then you got to figure out how you're going to do it. So that's that K.A.S.H.
Can I pause you?
Of course.
You said we've got to see it, hear it. What did you say? See it?
You gotta see it, believe it, and hear it.
See it.
Yeah, you learn what you see, say, and do.
See, say, and do. I think
see it,
powerful.
See, say, and do. Right? You gotta see it, you gotta say it, and you gotta do it.
Okay.
And you have to make a habit of doing it all the time because your visions keep changing.
Right.
People used to say, "Oh, you don't do all of that." I said, "Yes, I do. I really do all that." You're your own best motivator. Sometimes other people are not gonna motivate you. God and you got to get it together. Okay.
Yeah. I used to tell, people that I hire and people that I train, other salon owners with hiring, it's like, you can't motivate another person. It's like that's the only thing they got to bring with them. It's like if they don't bring some motivation and that good attitude and all of that with them, those are the things I can't teach you. It's like the rest of it, we can work on that.
Right. At the first three questions I ask a student or an employee is what, why, and how.
Okay.
You know, do you have a passion? And do you have gratitude for it? You know, what is it you want to do? Do you want to be a salon owner? I don't mind you telling me you want to be a salon owner. Mm-hmm. I want you to grow. In fact, let's do a chain together. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find out what their vision is. And if they don't have a burning passion, if they don't have the desire, determination, dedication, and discipline to do what it takes. You know, successful people are always the first ones. I'm always an hour early. Tracy gets on me about that at the airport. But anything can happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the last one to leave. You got to study. You got to read. You got to grow. It's not easy. But discipline, you got to get to follow the vision and the plan.
Right, right. Yeah, so discipline, that was a word that stood out. Tell me what that looks like in like real life.
In real life, discipline is setting the goal, planning the goal, and then being determined to do it no matter what happens. We're going to have failures. We're going to make mistakes. But, you know, I always say, if you fall down, look up and get up. That's all you got to do. When you make a mistake, just look up and just get on up and start all over again. I moved all the way to California to have a school because that was one of my dreams. And our students won every competition that there was. Wow. To have a business partner and I ended up losing everything I had. And I had to start all over again. Not to say that's not devastating, okay? Right. But I looked up and said, okay, what's next? Company called Kent moved me and Tracy here to Atlanta, and here I am. Wow. Okay, so you can't give up. Opportunities will always come again. It wasn't for me to be there any longer, you know, and you got to live in the moments. You got to live in right. You can't do anything about the past or the mistakes. Just, you know, and then people want to know what's in it for me. You know, everybody wants to know what's in it. What my students used to want to know why I got to learn how to finger wave, because you can become financially wealthy in this business and an independent owner and do it all, you know. So you have to go there, you know, you have to have the vision, you have to do it, and you have to practice.
Right, right. Yeah, you mentioned Kink, which is a company that I absolutely loved. I love the products and everything. And unfortunately, they're no longer around. But as you're talking about all of these success principles, it reminds me of our first show where we were introducing the product. You know, we traveled and got there and got everything up. And then we found out that the product that was supposed to be there wasn't going to be there at all. Or maybe Tuesday, but we definitely had Sunday and Monday with no product. So
we've had our experiences.
Yeah.
When we were in London, all of the equipment came broke. So Kenneth Browning and Randy Glover went and made us a thing for the shampoo bowl. We just learned to work with we had to learn to work with anything. We learned how to do anything with nothing. It was like the show still had to go on. Right. Okay. Right. Same thing with color. You know, I got on platform one time, did not communicate enough with the client, did not get enough information, didn't analyze it, had black tint on it. And I'm on stage and an hour later, she still got black hair. Right. I didn't answer the right questions. Right. And I told the audience, I owned up to it. I said, you know, this is what happens when you don't communicate. And I hadn't been in the business long enough to know you got to analyze it and that you can feel color. There's so many things we have to know with color, you know, that fine hair and coarse hair have different kind of molecules, more molecules than coarse hair. You know, you got to be able to share all that with your client and get her to tell you what she wants. You know, what she wants might not be great for her undertone. She might have a green undertone when she can't wear orange hair. Okay. And only a certain color blonde. So it's the total person of communicating. I really wish that one thing salons would do more of is have a consultation, because knowledge is power. Then you ask them, what do you want and why do you want it? Again, the same thing about being in your business. You know, what does your client really want? Does she know? Most of the time they don't. They might want to bang and then it don't look right. So comb some hair in the front, and I used to roll up a little thing, like a thing, and let her see, do you like that bang, girl? And they'd say, no, I don't like that. I said, see, so that all comes in communicating. And then when you turn her around in a chair, she'll have a smile. She won't mind giving you her money because the both of you were able to achieve what she wanted.
Right, right.
Yeah,
I think that's so powerful, and definitely the consultation. What other things do you see us leaving out of the consultation?
What are we leaving out?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? Well, you can't leave anything out. You got to know what they do. You got to know what medications they're on. Like if a person has sugar diabetes, their relaxer will look like it's reverted. You got to get all that knowledge. You got to know everything, what she does, how she does her hair at night when she's at home. You know, does she go home and flat iron and put a pin curl in it? You got to ask them all of those questions so you know everything about it. Then you only suggest to her what is best for her look, for her facial shape, for her lifestyle, you know, how to maintain her hair at home. And then the two of you will have a bond for life. And the one key to getting a client to always stay with you is to do some hair color. Because she's scared to go to anybody else because they won't get it right because they didn't got the formula.
Right, right. Yeah.
And that's so key. You know, every time I change my hair color, I change theirs. They wanted to change theirs. Every time I cut mine, they wanted to get a haircut. You know, and that's how you start increasing the services that you do for them.
So where do you look?
Where do you look?
No, wearing whatever you're wearing on your hair.
Right, right. The color is out, but I'm going to individualize and do it just for you because I can put number 12 and 35 on 10 people and get 10 different colors. I used to only have those two colors in the salon because on, you know, Relaxier, you could only go so light back then, you know, so I could put it on the same color on everybody, but because of their undertones, it would have a different color.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things you have to know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you know, that's when you have confidence. Yeah, you got to have confidence. You got to have the knowledge. And then you have confidence when you talk to her and say, listen, girl, I'm getting ready to make you good. And then hair cutting. You ask your client, well, how long do your styles stay? She said, girl, my hair comes out in 3 days. I said, well, would you like for it to stay longer? She said, yes. I said, well, what's a house without a foundation? It collapses. You need a cut designed strategically for you. Because if not, you just got ends that are pointed and it's not going to stay, you know? So, you know, you have to talk the talk and walk the walk to get them to do it. But that's with your knowledge.
Yeah. Did you guys get that? I hope everybody had a notebook out and took some notes on that.
Pen. I told them to get a pen and paper. Well, they have to look back at it because they will not remember but 10% of this.
That was gold. So if you didn't get your pen and paper out or your tablet out to take some notes on yet, rewind this thing when it comes out. It's like you want to hear that wording because she just gave you $1 million tip right there.
Yeah. Or when they get split ends, I'm going to strategically sever your tricotylosis. They'll say, do anything you want to do because they think it's something really bad. And then the other myth in the industry has been split ends are only at the end. To cut somebody's split ends, you got to go section by section and twist it. And then the little hairs that are sticking up are the split ends. But when you go to a salon, hairdressers normally say, oh, I'm going to cut your split ends. They just cut the ends. But that hair has grown so long without the right form of it because it's grown thin, then it goes all the way up the shaft. Right. You know, so you have to tell them why you have to do that so that doesn't happen.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's so much wisdom that you're sharing with us. And it's like, you know, people are always looking for clients. And it's like you're giving us gold with keeping the clients for life, you know, starting with that strong foundation.
And then you got to put your clients on a program. You got to become, they have to be a habit. You have to be a habit for them. You know, that every 2 weeks stuff, your hair is dirty after 3 days. So I used to do a program that I ran for 6 weeks for 10 weeks. Okay. And you paid one price. You paid for your cut, your relaxer, color, whatever you got. And then when you came back again, you just paid for a conditioner, right? So now my goal was 10 people a day for 5 days for 6 weeks. And then at the end of the 10 weeks, that first group is back. So guess what? You're never sitting down waiting on clients.
Right.
Because it just keeps repeating itself. Now, everybody doesn't like to get all their money at one time. But if you're running your salon like a business, like you're teaching, then it's okay for you to get your money at one time because you know how to budget it. And that's important.
Right.
You got to know the business end of this. You know, all these things you've heard before from other people, but you didn't make it a habit. And
Right.
we forget, we slip back. Listen, I haven't done it all perfectly over the years. I'm trying to figure out what vision board I can have for 75. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he ain't done with me yet because I'm still here. So I got to keep doing something. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like talking is still good for you. So
Yes. Yes. And I like that. Yeah. I like teaching. Yeah.
Yes.
They say, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
You know, and teaching and competition were my favorite things. Teaching a student the feeling of winning and losing makes you more successful in life. Right. You know, you didn't have to be the best stylist to be on the team, but you still got involved, and then you still felt like what it was. And you got to be a good loser. You know, you're going to lose clients. They're going to go to somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. For every one you lose, you'll get 2 more.
Right.
He always got your back.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That goes back to that attitude. You know, how are you thinking?
Oh yeah, you gotta how are you thinking? You know, Think and Grow Rich. There are 2 versions, a white version and a black. I've read them both. They both are good. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is a fiction book. But you know what? It teaches you that you can close your eyes and think and be right where you want to be, because they told Jonathan he couldn't fly at night. He was a seagull. And they actually put him out of the lot and banded him in the book, right? And he would get up at night and roar up in the skies to give my students seagulls, you know, because it's a mind thing. You got to motivate yourself, you know, and do it. And you can. You know, I've learned as I've gotten older about meditation. I used to say, oh, I can't meditate. My mind wanders too much. Well, then I learned all you got to do is when your mind wanders, just start listening to your breath again. And then you'll go back into that space. And meditation brings you into self-awareness. It's a nice spiritual awareness. And then you see all your visions again in your mind. Always keep the visions in your mind with meditation. It's excellent, you know.
Yeah. Do you have like a certain amount of times a day that you suggested? Like, you know, you were saying, look at our vision board 3 times a day.
I do it. Oh, my vision board is 3 times a day for 30 days. Everything or anything you want to do, a habit you want to break or a habit you want to get, is every day, 3 times a day for 30 days. Then it's a habit. Other than that, you haven't developed a habit of it. You'll forget about it real quick. If you don't look at this video over and over and over and over again, 3 times a day for 30 days, you'll get it. If you don't give it one thing from it, that's all that's necessary.
Yeah. We used to say that about going to the hair shows. It's like, if you pick up that one tip.
Just one thing to go back and make money with. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's unfortunate that we're not able to do any shows with the pandemic, but you know, technology allows us to do a lot of things. And another thing, you can't believe everything you see on YouTube when it comes to stylists. And all of you all are good, and there's more than one way to do anything, but there's still some fundamental basics that don't change.
Right.
You know, about styling hair. You know, Fidel Sassoon changed the whole industry. A lot of young people don't even know who he was. But back then, on that side of the market, they wore permanent waves and curly hair. Sassoon came in and started designing hair with geometric lines like architect, which just amazed me so much. I was so sprung on Fidel Sassoon and the Chadwicks and the Thomas Haydens and the Felipes, because I like geometric looks. You know what I'm saying? I like those sharp looks and those sharp things. You can still do it another way. But my thing was, when I got older, I was going to have that classic bob and glasses with rhinestones on the end of them. That was what we always looked forward to. You know, but it's out there. It's, you know, you can do anything. I've had my own product line. I work for a manufacturer. I worked at shows. I've had salons. I've had schools. I've done almost all of it. Teaching and competition is my favorite, but you can do it all. You know, you can develop a product, you can develop a hair grow product. You just got now surround yourself with people. You can't do it all by yourself because you don't know it all. So you have to surround yourself with people that is their area of expertise. Do not be afraid to hire a tax person. Pay your taxes. Okay.
Right.
Don't be afraid to hire a marketing person to do your web page. Yes, you're creative and you can give them your thoughts, but they can allow you to go so much further when you work with a team. You know, that's how we worked at Ultra Sheen. We were a team. What one did well, you had one that did relaxers, one that did cuts, one that did the styling. Everybody has a gift. God gives us all a gift, life, and then a gift, a talent. You know, mine was teaching and communicating. Musicians have a talent. Everybody, you just got to find that passion and go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't second guess yourself. You're gonna make mistakes. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Right. Yeah, you were talking about the opportunities in the industry, and I know you've had an opportunity to travel because of the industry. So tell us, you know, some of the places you've been and what that was like.
Oh, well, London was magnificent. I was there with Thomas Hayden, Randy Glover, Al Moss, and Lois Johnson. And we were the only Black company there. And we were hanging out with the big boys. Okay. And that experience was great. The food was terrible. Okay. Nigeria for Johnson Products was opening a plant.
Wow.
Nigeria was a little sad because I'd always said one day I was going back and teach there because there's a lot of poverty. But that experience was challenging. The lights went off in the middle of the afternoon. Sometimes the water would go out. We were in the middle of a show and we had to rinse hair out in the swimming pool. Oh, we went through it. But all the experiences that you get from that are you're going and traveling at somebody else's expense, you know, and even go to a class yourself while you're there, even though you're on stage. Somebody else has always got something else they can teach you. You can never learn enough. But I've been around the world, you know, the Bahamas, everywhere. And fortunately, I've been able to help mold my daughter, Tracy, into doing some of those same things. You know, she followed in my footsteps as far as a salon and platform. I have a son, a lot of people don't know, who's a vice chancellor at University of Minnesota, Rochester. He's a vice chancellor. He does the teaching, a professor. So he got that part. And even though Tracy teaches, she's a salon owner. She followed in my footsteps. I love both them children.
Yeah.
But we got to travel, you know.
Right.
So, and I would take them, you know, Tracy would be in the hotel room ordering so much room service. But, you know, my son was in the salon after school, you know, so they grew up in it.
Right.
Know? So you can be married, you can have children, and you can do all of it. You can do anything you want to do, whatever the mind of man can and woman can conceive and believe. So can he achieve. You just got to say it. I can do it. 3 times a day for 30 days.
Okay.
You're going to hear me keep saying that because it's so important.
Yeah.
So important.
So I'm honored that you're here as a legend because it's like there aren't that many female legends, you know, of that time.
Oh, no.
I know there's, you know, some is like, but what was it like being, you know, one of a few females?
Well, that was the challenge. That now Olive Benson was my mentor because she was the only one out there with all the guys hanging out with James Harris and Thomas and Jim Williams and all of them. So it was a challenge because men dominated the show circuit. Right. And I never wanted to challenge them or be better than them. I just wanted to do a good job with what I knew how to do. I never, you know, it was never about if your show was better than mine. I just wanted to do my best job, you know. But now we've got a whole lot of greats. We've got you, we've got Lanita Griffin, we got Pat Grant Williams, we got Miki. And, you know, you guys came from some of us, you know, trained under us. And so there are a lot more women experts out there now. And I watch them all. I watch all the young stylists. I just be smiling when I watch them. Okay. And when they're telling the truth, you know, and they got it together. And most of those stylists that I've seen on YouTube, they have the knowledge. They're giving correct knowledge. They're not, you know, Pat Grant Williams does an excellent job with natural hair. Nikki and all of them with the classes and the cutting and the coloring. You know, so we women have stepped up over the years. But I only had one female mentor. Well, Anne Bray was another one, but that was on the other side of the world. Because of competition, I trained under her to learn artistic form and how to style hair and balance and form and unity. And that when the European judges start judging from head to toe. And I did love judging. A lot of people got mad at me a whole lot of times, but I could tell them what was wrong. I could say that your hairstyle is combed beautiful, but the sleeves are too big. Because if my eye, when I judge, doesn't go straight down and see the whole person, there's something wrong with that picture. Okay, so well, the dress is fabulous, but them puff sleeves and that hairdo are not going to work. So I enjoyed that and critiquing, you know, all of that, the Rolls Royce competitions, the beauty trade, the Proud Lady, you know, and I commentated them and judged them all, and I loved it.
So tell us about Beauty Trade. I'm not familiar with that one.
Beauty Trade was a show, one of the first Black shows other than Bronner Brothers by Bernice Calvin.
Oh, okay.
And
that was her show. Okay.
That was her show. Okay. And that's how I met Thomas and Olive and all of them. And I started out really modeling. I was in school and everything, but James Harris used me for a model at the first international show. You know, he told me he still has a picture he's gonna send me, but he hasn't sent it to me yesterday. Yet. He just had a birthday. But I was around good people. My successes are due to having good people and mentors and trainers. I couldn't have done it by myself. That styling team we had at Johnson Products, we were a team. It was very little bickering and jealousy. Everybody just wanted to have fun. I tried to make it fun, you know. So
well, you did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Yes.
Yeah. There's, so many experiences and things that you're sharing. It's like, and with the beauty trade shows, like, I guess did that morph into Big Show Expo?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
No, that didn't end the Big Show Expo. That was it. Beauty Trade was the Big Show Expo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just different names.
Yeah, and she did Chicago. Really, she was out of New York. Right. I don't remember totally all the names because I done forgot.
Yeah.
But Bernice Calvin, and Bronner Brothers. Now, them Bronner Brothers shows, we used to do the hair in the basement of the Bronner Brothers show. There was no air conditioning.
Okay.
We used to have to change clothes 2 or 3 times a day from the sweat. Okay. But we taught back in them days.
Okay.
We didn't do a lot of show stuff. We taught. When you left there, you had learned something.
Okay.
And you had some good educators. Jim Williams, a lot of people don't know anything about him because he left us early. But there was some, Thomas and Olive and James, we were the only ones that were out there. John Atchison, Bené Davis, just a lot of great people. And some of them are still with us. Bené Davis is still in Chicago, being a consultant, involved in the white side of the NCA. We were all involved in that. Each of your cities had that, and you had your conventions. Then you could get your doctorate. You wonder how me and Mr. Mitchell can say doctorate. They're honorary doctorates, but we spent 8 years with the National Beauty Culture League doing so many classes a year. And then at the convention, we were there for a week. And we did that for 8 years.
Wow.
So we were given honorary doctorates. But I hate that that's not still around for the young designers. The organization, like any political organization or things, just didn't allow young people to get in soon enough to be able to carry that on.
Okay.
And that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad because that was a good network for us to learn, and they brought good educators.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's like there is, I think, there's more things that you could do, more trainings and classes and things like that. But it is nice when it's kind of under an umbrella where you can Yeah.
And it's a networking, again, we talk more about networking now than we did then, but you would leave there after you guys have had lunch and stuff with new ideas from everybody.
Right.
Some worked, some didn't. You tried some, it was a good bond. They became like family. You look forward to it. They took their children,
Right.
they did vacations, so, and them sisters, they dressed. They
Right.
had, you had a sorority. Okay, you had colors. They would come out in them red suits and them white blouses. But them sisters strutted and they dressed and they were professional, and it was a good thing. It was a
Right.
good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good thing.
Yeah, we've got a few comments here. It says,
Okay.
Dr. Hare, loving every minute of the interview with my twin, Dr. Barbara Edmonds.
Okay. Hey, twin.
And then let's see. Sherry Yvette Withers Banks. Hi, beautiful. My beautiful Barbara Edmonds. Love from Sherry Yvette in Chicago, one of your hair production models back in the day.
Right. Yes, she was fabulous. Still is.
Yeah, it's like I see her photo there. Gorgeous. And it looks like Mr. Fred Miller is in the house. So,
okay. Hi, Fred.
Telling us this Big Show Expo.
Okay. Thank you. Don't chalk it up to my memory.
Yeah, and Sandra Maxberry. Hey, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
He says hi, guys. Yeah. So, and then Fred was saying, I was going to ask that actually, is like with the Bronner show that you were referencing, was it when it was still at the Hyatt?
Yes.
You had to work in the basement.
Yes, 30 years, 40 years ago, it was in the basement of the Hyatt. And they had that bar in the center with the parrots. Yes, that's where it was.
Okay. Yeah.
It was hot up in that camp.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't remember it being at the Hyatt. I remember the Hyatt being the show hotel, but I remember
that's where it started.
For a little bit.
That's where it started. It started at the Hyatt.
Yeah.
That's how long I've been doing hair. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But from what I understand,
it was like the show to go to.
The Hyatt was the only hotel downtown Atlanta that would let Black people have a show there.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we got to the convention center.
Say that again.
Till we got to the convention center.
Yeah.
Until we were able to get to the convention center. Right.
Yep. Absolutely. So many things. So with speaking, like you talked about, you got the mic with your first competition and you were hooked. But what kind of training and that type of thing did you get to, perfect what you did? Because you were like the voice, at the show.
Listen, I got books on how to speak, and I got in the mirror and I acted like I had a microphone. Okay. And in the process of that, I practiced in the mirror. I practiced all my presentations. You have to, if you don't know something, or however you want to present it, you got to practice it. All of it. It doesn't happen as great as it can. It can happen if you don't practice. Some people can do that, but eventually it catches up. But you can do more and be a better professional, make more money with the right amount of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And you got to practice it. You got to speak correctly. Dr. Mitchell was really on platform. You better really be able to say trichophtalosis, okay? And all those technical terms, because you want to talk to your client in technical terms. I write prescriptions for my clients. When you go to the doctor, he gives you a form to fill out to know what's going on.
Right.
Okay, once you tell him what's wrong, he prescribes what he thinks you should have. Okay, don't tell nobody to say that. But with us, you should hand them that. And then I'd give them a prescription for their hair, for their maintenance. Oh, hairdressers used to hide the products under the station, what they use. They wouldn't tell you what they was using. No, teach your clients what to do. Because when they come back and it's messed up, then it's going to cost them more if you didn't tell them. They're going to say, well, you didn't tell me, not to pin curl it, or to roll it with a hard roller, and the roller rubs with the clip and it breaks at the scalp. And I come back and say, you broke my hair off because I didn't tell you not to put that roller in your hair and sleep in it.
Right.
It all goes back to that consultation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Or like you're saying, they come back and they're upset, but sometimes they just don't come back. And that
Right. Yes. They don't come back and you wonder what happened to them. You
exactly.
know, it's like, dang, I wonder what happened. But now I would call my clients when they didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd send them birthday cards. I'd get
Uh-huh.
on the phone. I like my money. I wanted to keep my money coming. So
Right.
I got a gift to Gap. Hey girl, how'd your hair do? You know, are you coming this week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Barbara.
And we didn't get as much money then as we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So we were doing relaxers at $25, Lord help.
Uh-huh. Right. Yep. But
But the
everything,
industry has grown so much. It's almost $20,000 to go to beauty school,
yeah, or
you
more.
know, more.
Yeah,
But the
more.
training is better. You know, if you're at a Paul Mitchell school and a really good school, because the foundation is important, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
their whole concept is to come in and own all the beauty schools, own all the
Mhm.
salons, and then hire us. Well, we don't need to do that. We need to become independently financially stable ourselves, and you can do it. Even in times like these, the money you can get some money and remodel your salon. You know,
Mhm.
or if you don't have one yet, get a grant to get a salon. Start small and grow big. You don't need a
Mhm.
10-chair salon at first. People used to say to me, well, does Tracy have a salon? Well, she worked for somebody first, then she had a small salon, and now we've gone to a larger salon. You can't
Right.
start out big if you can't pay the rent. You depending on them stylists to pay the rent because they'll all leave you at one time.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, I have several issues about booth rent versus salary. I prefer salary, but it's hard to get us to think that way. We'll
Mm.
do it for the chain salons, and work on commission. So, I don't have a problem with the booth renter, but you got to do the same things if you work for me as a booth renter as you did if you were in a salon. You got to come to meetings. You got to go to shows. You got to be educated. You got to bring some ideas. You got to
Mm.
have goals. And that's okay because you're an independent contractor, but we're still a team. So it makes the whole salon look good when everybody's on the same page. And
Mhm.
you need to look good.
Right.
Okay. Uh, I used to hate to see them folks. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all get mad. Have your hair done. Have your makeup on. Be on time. Okay. That
Mhm.
might sound like I'm preaching, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
When you look good and they walk in, they know you know how to do hair.
Right.
When you look the part, uh, one of my stylists put some makeup on one day, and the lady said, "I know you knew how to do makeup." She
Mm.
said, "Oh yeah." She said, "Well, I got a big event to go to. Would you come and do the class?"
Right.
And she had never didn't have her makeup on before this day with
Mhm.
this client. She went and got a lot of clients from that. So
Right.
all of that, the way you look at all times, is
Mhm.
important. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to do it, even if you don't feel like it. If you
Right.
don't feel like it, guess what? Once you do it, you'll feel better.
Right. Yeah.
Once you do it, you'll feel better.
Yeah. And all of that kind of just goes back to your cash formula,
Oh yeah,
the attitudes, the skills, and the habits.
skills and habits, your desire, your determination, your
Mhm.
dedication, and discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, and you got to be dedicated to it. Everything I've done has never been work.
Mm.
I've always enjoyed doing it. When you
Mm.
got to go to work, that creates a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. You got to look at what you do as something that you love, and then you're going to get paid for making people beautiful.
Right.
So your mindset is so important. And I learned it later on in life, maybe about 30. But when I first started out, I didn't have it together like that. But going to classes, doing the
Mhm.
motivation stuff, reading, and then some things I tried, they didn't work, and other things did. I met a guy named Ira Hayes at a motivation class, and this man had his picture on everything, the
Mm.
book, the card, everything. So I asked the question because I was thinking he was real egotistical, right? So I asked the question, why do you have your picture on everything? He
Uh-huh.
said, ma'am, how many cards have people given you in your wallet? And I said, I got a lot of them. He said, how often do you clean it out? He said, which ones do you throw away? You
Mhm.
throw away the ones that don't have anything visual. So I used to
Mhm.
tell students, listen, or stylists, put your picture on there. Get a professional picture done. And when they look at that picture, they're going to come to you. But they're not
Mhm.
done. One day they're going to need their hair done and look in their wallet. If it ain't no picture there, they're going to throw that card out. But if your picture is on there, they're going to say, I remember her, you know, and how you greeted them when you gave them the card. And I always say, bring me 3, you get 1 free. You got to give people something. Can't be afraid to give back. One client said, oh, you're going to get too busy. I said, I'm never going to be too busy. Okay, because I know how to book my appointments. So please get me some clients. Okay, I'm gonna give you some free ones. Okay, so you got to do all of that. You got to get your clients to help you motivate and get business.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So I know, I don't remember how long Tracy's been in business, but like if there were like top 3 things you would tell her if you weren't, you know, right there working with her, what would you say as far as starting out in the business?
Well, I mean, I told her already, more or less, because she's had it. You know, it was work for somebody else first, build your clientele, be able to pay your bills with the clientele that you have. And then when you get ready to open, if you don't have anybody in that salon, you don't have to ever close your door, because you can do that and still make a profit.
Right.
You know, and that makes your business run. But when you depend on other people for that, that doesn't always work. And you want people to come and grow and go and get their own, you know, but you got to be able to manage your money. You got to set goals. You know, I said, Tracy, how much money you want to make this year? You know, then how can I make that? How many clients do I have to do to make $1,000 this week? Okay. Is it 10? How many? And then how am I going to get those clients? You know, so you have to do all that to see how you're going to make that money. What do I have to charge to get that? You know, so those are all business things that you have to learn. You know, where you need to be a multicultural salon. You need to be able to do any and everybody that walks in. My salon in Indianapolis 40 years ago was a multicultural salon. I lived in a Jewish area, had Jewish clients in the daytime, a Jewish reception, a Jewish manicurist. In the evening, it was us. You know, we were multicultural, got to be able to do it all.
Right.
You know, hair is hair. Fine, medium, of course, straight, curly, or kinky. It just is a different technique on how you finish it. You know, how you finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's so needed right now, that it's like we have so much segregation and separation within the industry, you know, that texture isn't being taught across the board, that it's like more, you know, Black or African American stylists know how to do more textures, but there's still a lot of us that don't know how to do a lot of other textures as well. Right.
Afraid of it. You know, my hair has always been straight, you know, so that helped me be able to manage that, you know. But my first job at the House of James is where I learned really about, you know, permanent waves and all of that. But when I went to them, I created a job. I said, listen, you don't teach anything about Afro-American texture, so you need to hire me. Well, I did that so I could learn what they were doing.
Right.
Because I didn't learn that much about it in Walker Beauty School. So when I left there, I was able to do both. My first job was in a Lafayette Square in Indianapolis. Pink Poodle was a white salon, right? They booked you every 15 minutes. That's how I learned how to do clients, get them in and out. Every 15 minutes, they taught you how to build your speed. Do that with your mannequin. Practice on your mannequin so you don't keep people in there all day. It don't take all day to do no hair good, you know. Because you do it slower, don't make it better than if you do it fast. If you do it fast and you know how to take that flat iron and do it right, it don't take no 10 times to flat iron one strand of hair.
Right.
Okay. So all of those things are really, really important. You know, and Tracy has listened. You know, you wonder sometimes if your children are going to listen. And we agree on most things, you know, and when I don't agree, or the way she might do a particular style, I don't say anything. I just look at it, and it'd be great when she get through. I'd be so glad I didn't say anything. I don't know what to do. You know, but she's mastered it. She practices the formula. She does. She's up early. She's out early. She's the first one there. So she's been able to take those things I've influenced and showed her how it works. Both of my children. It does work. Does it work for everybody? No. You know, there's no one formula for everything. You know, everybody's hair is different. So there's no one way to do you can't look. when the snatch back was in, you might not know nothing about that, Miki.
Yep,
That
I
was
did.
curls that went all the way back. I got so tired of snatching hair back, I started curling it forward. Okay, every client, they called us cookie cutters. Okay, I thought, I
Yep.
am not doing this kind of hair. No, this does not work for me. Okay, so yeah, but it's been a fun industry, a fun time. You know, I learned a lot of lessons. Corporate America is tough as a woman and as a Black. But you have to learn what battles to fight. You have to learn to listen, and you might not agree, but find a way to communicate to them what your ideas are and get them to use them. And that just takes, again, communication. I
Right.
used to say, act on the laws so you'll have no flaws. Okay.
Yes, it's like you got a saying for everything, right? I
Oh
love it.
yeah, that was my thing though, to make things simple. I
Right.
came up with act on the laws so you have no flaws from a haircutting class I went to. Now, at
Okay.
that point, I didn't know that much about hair cutting. So the guy standing up there saying, hold the hair at a 180-degree angle with your fingers turned back. So when I left, I didn't know how to cut that hairstyle at all. Okay. So I
Okay.
went back and made hair cutting simple. You analyze the client, you communicate, you find out what type and texture she has. You find out the length she wants, how much weight, and then go for it. Okay. But you had to make it simple. All them angles and stuff, you need to know that. But at that time, I didn't know how important that was. Now they
Right.
could say that now, and I'd understand it real well, because it's all mathematics. Head shape, form, angles, it's all mathematics.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think what you're
And it
saying is,
becomes a habit. You notice how you do a haircut over and over again, and you master it. It's one that you can cut that bob perfect every time. It became a habit because you
right.
did it enough.
Right.
So that's how it all ties in. You do it over and over again, it becomes a habit. You could do that cut blindfolded now. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you won't, but yeah.
No, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Right. Because you've done it enough, that
Right.
you're not guessing at how
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, it doesn't have to take all day either.
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it's like we're, kind of close to our time. So tell us, like, what's
Okay.
next for you as far as your life and career?
Well, really, what I've had to learn that's been difficult, I'm sure it is for Dr. Mitchell too, being a workaholic all of our lives, is learning how to really enjoy life and look at what you've done. And it's really okay if you don't do anything else. But I still don't ever want to be somebody that doesn't do anything. Right now, my main thing is my health. At 75, I've had some health issues. I've survived them. Uh, Having to get in the habit of exercising, using my principles on in getting old. Okay, I know I got to exercise every day. I know that I can't overeat, although the pandemic hasn't helped at all.
Right.
Okay. Um, but those same principles, I'm thinking about maybe doing something more with um, the study of hair, trichology, hair loss. I've looked at a lot of videos out there and a lot of companies, and I do it at the salon. But I would like to do something for people at home where they can send a picture of their scalp and their hair, and then we can analyze it and then do an interview and see them face to face, and only to direct them to their salon. Because I'm not getting ready to direct them to come and do me. I ain't trying to get no clients.
Right.
But to get the client base to go to somebody that's into the scientific approach of hair.
Right.
I learned that from Redken, which was Jerry Redding. He was sitting on a ladder in California at a California White show. Jerry Redding owned Jeremac, Nexus, and he did hair under the microscope then. And they had the machines that stress test the hair for elasticity. So I got into the scientific approach of hair and how it grows. Hair grows from the scalp, but the hair is fed by the blood. So if you don't have the right oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in your bloodstream, you're going to have hair loss. You're going to automatically begin to get some hair loss as we age. So, I want to teach people how to do it through eating the right things, and you don't have to do a lot. It becomes overwhelming. Just do one thing, at a time. and accomplish it. Other than that, it's overwhelming. But I still do a few clients in the salon, and I'm enjoying life, one day at a time. I live in the moment.
Yes.
Gotta live in the moment. That's all you got. Okay. Gotta still dream, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm sure something else will pop up in my mind. I thought about a book, not doing that. Some other things. I think I just want to be in another teaching realm for consumers to make it better for hairdressers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do something to help hairdressers do better. So, I can communicate with the clients and let them know, look, this needs to be treated. I can't treat no diseases, but I can treat that dry scalp, and that broken hair, and it's a treatment. Then people want instant results. It takes at least a year for hair to grow back. It grows at a ½ inch per month, some slower, some faster. But you can't be in a hurry if you got hair loss. Okay, when I first started doing it, they were like, well, I'm not seeing anything yet. I said, I told you in the beginning, if you're not dedicated to the time, it's a year. If you don't want to do that, don't even start it, because you're wasting my time. Then you go talk bad about me and say that I didn't grow your hair back. Okay, so you got to give them the right information and I want to let them know, if you go to a specialist, it's not going to come back overnight. Bosnia and them, it don't come back overnight.
Right.
The other thing is that I don't know if you all can still buy them or not, but especially for weaves and things, you need an ultraviolet rake so that you can stimulate the blood circulation and keep the follicle open, especially with front lace wigs. Go in there with that machine and keep that blood flowing, and then you won't have as much loss. I don't know how to sit in this thing right. I'm losing the camera, but anyway, you won't have as much hair loss. And it's a rake. It's an ultraviolet rake. Laser therapy is not new, like nothing else. Ultraviolet light, red light. We've done all of that. But if you're doing a lot of weaves and front lace, even if they have it, you take that rake and put it through there so that hair, the blood can be stimulated to keep the hair that's under there growing. Okay. One other thing. Namaste had a product. I wish I could figure out how to market it, called orange oil. And it was a sleeper. But what it actually did was it dissolved the glue when we were doing a lot of gluing, and it didn't take the hair out.
Wow.
So that's why even you got to be careful if you do pole weaving or you sew it in when you cut it. So, you got to master all of that.
Yes.
I don't knock that. Just take care of that hair underneath. Don't see them every 6 months. Tell them they still need to come and get that scalp treated, get a treatment, and get their hair they had that they own fixed.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Really great insights with the hair loss. I think we're just seeing so much of it these days.
Yeah. And stress. Stress is a number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So those are some good tips, though. Some more noteworthy things to.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got Dave Ray, just to show you a few more of the comments here. And he says hello to the lovely Barbara Edmonds. And I think there's another user here. If you're on Facebook, near where you see the link or what have you, it says, like, you could go to StreamYard, you can put your name in so we can actually see your name if you'd like. But said actually the show was in the garage at the Hyatt, I guess, to begin with. So really good history, guys. We appreciate it. And Dave says the NBCL still offers the doctoral program. So that may be
And
something.
Dave Ray is an excellent cook. He has a cooking show. You don't want to miss Dave Ray's cooking show. Listen, it be looking so good. I wish you could send it to me. Him and Fred. Now, Fred is showing out.
Right.
Both of them, they showing out.
Yeah. Okay. All these creatives have all these talents. It's like
yeah, we can do a lot of other things.
Exactly. Yeah. And Dewana says she got her notebook out and she loves this interview.
Oh, great. Great. And go back and read it 3 times a day. Make sure you wrote them so you can read them. Okay, I used to write notes. Look, I would go to class. I'd be so excited. I'd write notes. I get home. I couldn't read none of it.
Okay.
So I had to learn how to take time and write my notes so I could read them later.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But
Let's see, one more here. You've earned the right to sit back and relax. You've opened so many doors to so many hairstylists. So yeah, it's like you definitely have. And it's like I'm one sitting right here. And Fred says it sounds like they took that off the market, the orange oil you were referencing.
They did, but it was a sleeper.
Yeah.
Because at that time, that company we weren't really recognizing adding hair. So I understood the controversy about it. But, you know, you can buy orange oil at the health food store.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
We'll have to check it out.
I mean, it may have had some other ingredients, but orange oil will help lift up that without damaging the hair.
Yeah. And we need to do anything we can to not damage the hair.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for just, you know, the graciousness that you extended us with coming on such short notice. You know, I wanted to have you on all along anyway. So it's like it just everything fell into place. So it's like we're grateful that you're here and you just said, yep, let's do it. And I appreciate it.
Let's do it. Well, I want you to keep on keeping on because you're doing a great job of this and making people aware. And like I said, all we can do is continue to suggest to people which way to go. Right. You know, and some will get it and some won't. But live, love, and laugh every day. Right. Learn to laugh at yourself. You know, love people. Be grateful for the little things because you know what? So many other people are so much worse off. You might not have got your unemployment, but some people ain't got a home. Right. You know, so gratitude is because we always want more things. We forget about that what we have. We didn't have to have that. Exactly. You know, or we didn't have to wake up this morning. Right. You know, so before I get up, I say thank you. I do my 23rd Psalm before I go to bed. And life is great. And I appreciate you for having me and honoring me. Yes, yes. Well, it's like you, like I said, have made a tremendous impact in my life as far as just being able to be on stage with you is like exciting. I know. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of you when I look back at all the people I've trained, that's my joy. That's the joy in teaching. I had something to do with that. Yeah, like even with Charles Gregory, he would come to my classes, and when I would see Charles at the shows, he'd go, "You helped me so much," and it was like, "But look where you've gone, and look what you've done." I had something to do with that, you know. So yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful. Yeah, Charles had the gift. Yeah. Charles was a lifelong student. It's like he was. I actually have a master. I kind of forgot. It's like I did an in-person interview with him a little while back, I don't know, about 3-4 years ago, maybe. But prior to that, I did an interview with him a long time ago. And I remember him saying like different quotes, like from the Milady book. Right, right. Like, how do you know this by heart, you know? Because we read it over and over and over again. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so I always thought at that point that, you know, people think that you know, like, well, if I was, you know, styling hair for Tyler Perry Studios at that time, it's like, if I was doing that, then I would, you know, pick up my book. But it's like, he's doing it because he picked up his book first, you know? Right. So, and you got to keep picking up the book because everything changes. Right. You know, I had to start teaching different after I had stopped doing the product and everything. I said, what am I going to do? I started teaching at a school here. But I couldn't write on the blackboard the lesson plan anymore. I had to get a computer. I had to do PowerPoint. I didn't know how to do any of that because students were bored with it being written on the board. Then I had to learn that because they watch all that stuff on there, I would open my classes up with, well, how do you think you should do a relaxer? And then I'd let them tell me. And if they didn't say gloves or base, I'd say, well, now let's talk about another way to add to what you're doing. That way I could get them to know what's in it for them. What's in it for you is you're not going to burn your client if you don't put it on the scalp, you know? So I had to learn a different way of teaching, you know, because it was another group of students, you know, another whole generation, you know? And so my son said, I've been here a half a century. So I had to learn some new stuff too. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's a lot different now.
Yeah, I commend you for, just being who you've been in my life, and I'm sure so many people, so many others' lives, and continuing to be that inspiration and that beacon. So we
Thank you very much.
appreciate you.
Namaste.
Namaste to you.
Namaste.
And I opened the show with my what is it, my trophy back there from the Proud Lady, but it's like I forgot to show y'all my jacket. This is the one I was wearing when I got the award.
You won that trophy, huh? Okay.
Fringe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yes, those were good times. I would love to see this new generation get some of that.
Yes. Yeah. So everything evolves. Everything will happen, I guess, the way it's supposed to happen, and these will be the good old days for for the generation.
Yeah, it's still gonna. When people say it's never gonna be the same, nothing is ever the same anyway.
Exactly.
You know what? It stayed the same. So you readjusted. If you move somewhere where it didn't snow and now it snows, you need chains on your tire.
Yep.
So we just have to go with the flow with the pandemic. You can't make it be a negative. It's not easy to deal with it every day, but just start thinking about the positive side. Again, if you go back to gratitude, it'll all be all right. You can breathe. And when things get really tough and you get stressed and all, just breathe and listen to your breath just for about 3 or 4 minutes. And you will be surprised at how your whole body changes.
Yes.
Yeah. How your whole body changes.
Yeah. It actually calms your nervous system. And that's one of the most wonderful things we can do.
Yeah. Just breathe.
That stress.
Yeah. You gotta breathe and meditate.
Yeah. So thank you, Fred. It's a fantastic interview. Gratitude brings latitude. Thanks, Dave Ray.
Yeah, gratitude brings a great attitude. Yes.
Yeah. This is another great interview with the legend, Ralph. Thank you so much. So thank you, everyone who's joined us tonight. Thank you for all the different places you're watching. It's like, and if you're watching on the replay, thank you for choosing to take time out of your schedule to get some of this. I hope that you got some really good nuggets, because she sure dropped some. It's like, get that pen out, hit the replay button, get the tablet, whatever it is.
Right.
That you've got to kind of get this started, to do that 3 times a day and start to get these new habits.
Those habits, right. And just one at a time. Don't be overwhelmed. You ain't got to do them all at once. Right. Work on your knowledge. We got to work on your knowledge and the attitude together. But the skills and habits you can develop, and what it is that you want to do, But you guys are going to be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it's like, we've got, and I guess I didn't do that. It's like I was going to have a little scroll running to invite you guys to visit Beauty Superstars. It's like there's a free gift there for you to get your finances back on track. And beautysuperstars.com with an S on the end. And also, I mentioned earlier, it's like that we are going to get the podcast up and running very soon, hopefully before the end of the month. We're working really hard to do that, but we need your support. We're going to need you guys going over to the podcast. It'll be Beauty Superstars Talk, and I don't know how long it'll take for it to be available on all the different, Apple iPods and the Spotify and all that kind of good stuff, but it'll be available everywhere, and you can listen to all of this, because I truly believe that, success leaves clues, and that we have to surround ourselves with those beautiful people that Barbara was referencing. It's like the company we keep makes a huge difference. And it's like, this is an easy way to keep some great, motivated, professional, inspirational people surrounding you all the time. So I hope you'll join us on the podcast. It's like, I've gotten feedback that you guys want it. So I'm like, okay, we're going to take the dive and go for that. And
go for it. It's yours. Yeah. Claim it. Claim it. Yeah. It's yours.
Yes. Well, next week, it's like our Legends series will continue. It's like we'll have Mr. Floyd Kenyatta, who's the global ambassador for John Paul Mitchell Systems, as well as he has a new company called Pop-Up Suites, where he does high-end designs for salons. So it's like, if you're thinking about remodeling, like Barbara was talking about, or like opening up a new place, that he's definitely somebody to come and check out, because he's got connections all over the world. It's like his theme is just global, and this is a great time for us to kind of see what else is out in the world. And we definitely want to draw on his experiences, and he's going to give us a little bit more history, as all of our legends have, about the people who've inspired them, and bring us a little bit more history into our space. And into November, we go into Retail Month, and I haven't figured out a cute name for it, but really I'm thinking that retail is the new cosmetology. We are in a space where the numbers are rising with the pandemic, and it may be possible that we may have another lockdown. Who knows? I don't know, but we've got to, you know, as we saw before, kind of keep our options open for ways that we can generate income, whether we're behind the chair or not behind the chair. And so I've got some great people coming for Retail Month. We've got Stephanie Lester with Naked Products, and they're one of the, there's only a few, unfortunately. ABBA was in support of, and all of the Black owned manufacturers coming together, and we don't have that many of them left. And so they are one. And so we want to hear what she has to say, not only about retailing, but about, you know, being a Black manufacturer right now, and how we can strengthen what it is that they're doing. Because it helps our communities, it helps everything. And it's like I'm maybe getting these out of order, but we've got the retail boss coming. Kina will be here, and she'll be telling us what we need to do, because it's like, after all these years and all this training, so many of us are still not very good at retail, and and we're like missing a boat. We're sending our clients down the street and all that kind of stuff. And she has tons of ways for us to make it simple and easy. And we'll have Jane Carter with Jane Carter Solutions. If you are someone who has products, you're thinking you want to go bigger, it's like, we're going to do a little behind the scenes, like what it takes to expand and what you need to be on the lookout for, with some dirty little secrets about retail. And we will also have Mr. Thomas Fawcett, who is writing a book that's about to come out called Shut Up and Sell. And he's going to talk to us about what we need to do to become better salespeople. And that's behind the chair with products and all of that. But I loved what he did with some of the products that they had during the pandemic and the shutdown. They really helped to set hairstylists up to be able to generate income by supporting them with the products and being able to get it all out for them. So all of them have a wealth of information. So mark your calendars. It's Tuesdays at 7 p.m. every week. Just plan to join us. And again, my name is Miki Wright. I'm with beautysuperstars.com, a salon business coach. And I will be looking at maybe starting another mastermind. It's like we're doing in the middle of a 90-day mastermind. Actually, we're not in the middle. We're toward the beginning of it. But it's been going so well. We want to support other stylists, and it's really seasoned stylists who are looking to make a transition, whether it's behind the chair or outside of the chair. We've got all kinds of folks that are just doing exceptional things, and even just, you know, building a clientele, starting out into a salon suites and haven't done that before. Whatever that transition is, it's like you need the confidence, you need the clarity, and you need the support to be able to make those things happen. So that's what the mastermind supplies. It's not really a class, it's a support system for you to be able to take yourself to the next level using some of the things that Barbara talked about today, but we help keep you on track and keep you accountable. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. And I want to again say thank you guys for joining me, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Take great care. Bye. Thank you again, Miss Barbara, and I will look forward to seeing all of you guys next time.
Okay.
So have a fabulous week.